Good morning, Panthers. Welcome to day one, week one of distance learning. I first and foremost want to say how excited I am that it's finally starting. I hope you guys are having some fun going through the different links that we have for you guys, reading through Mayan, doing your math. I know Missy Cheta had a live meeting, so I hope you guys had a lot of fun with that. I just wanted to make a semi-quick video on a tutorial on how I would like the lessons to be completed for my scholars. Now, these are all review lessons, so you guys have done these in the past, and you guys know how to do these. So I just want to make sure that I go through it and you guys know how to say the sounds, how to read the words, since I'm usually the one in class helping you guys and giving you guys my signal. So I'm going to go through it. At the end, I will bring the camera over here and show you exactly what you should be seeing there on your paper. So parents, please feel free to stop my video and to allow your scholar to go get their packets and open up to the correct page. This video is specifically for Georgia. So my scholars that are in the College House, Georgia, which is packet 2K, please go get that packet. I will be reviewing lesson 11. If you are not in Georgia, more videos to come just to kind of show you the rhythm of how that lesson should look like, or what that lesson should look like. So please feel free to pause my video, go get your packet, Georgia, and open up to lesson 11 so we can start. Excellent. So everybody should be on lesson 11 in Georgia. Please put your finger under the first part of part 1. Part 1, first sound. There are two sounds for both of these letters. The first sound is O and Ah. Next sound, E or E. For these next words, remember we say the sound first and then we read the word fast. First word, what sound? Eh. What word? Yes, 10. Next word. What sound? Ah. What word? Yes, pond. Next word. What sound? E. What word? Yes, we. And so on and so forth. And remember, scholars, when we make a mistake, we practice the word, we ask what that word is. That word is we go back and we do it again until it's 100%. We're going to go ahead and skip to part 2. Part 2 is very similar to part 1. You say the sound first and then you say the word. I will be doing an example of the first 3 words. So scholars, part 2, word 1. First word, what sound? What word? Yes, lift. Next word. What sound? What word? Yes, order. Next word. What sound? Woo. What word? Yes, which. And so on and so forth for part 2. We're going to go ahead and go to part 3 since that one looks a little bit different. We're going to go that one. We're just reading the words the fast way, each column. So scholars, please put your finger under the first word of column A. We're going to read these words the fast way. First word. What word? Yes, plan. Next word. What word? Yes, planning. Next word. Think really big. What word? Yes, planned. So on and so forth. We will go to column B and complete column C. And of course, any mistakes, go back up to the top of just that column and repeat that column again. Okay, we're going to go ahead and skip to part 4. Part 4, I'm going to tell you the first 4 words, and then you're going to read those words the fast way. First word is no. Next word is my. Next word, into. Next word, question. So for part 4, you will read those words again by yourself, reading them the fast way all the way for part 4. Excellent. So we're going to go to part 5. Part 5 is our word attack. So basically we're going row by row. So you'll see in part 5, scholars, if you can touch the little A in the parentheses, that is your first row. We're going to make sure that that first row is perfect before we go to row B, before we go to row C, so on and so forth. So the way that would look, part 5, scholars, put your finger on the first word. What word? Yes, lift. Next word. What word? Shopping. Next word. What word? Which. Next word. What word? Black. Last word. What word? Wet. Excellent. That would be 100% if your scholars got it 100%, so we can move on to row B. Row B, first word. What word? Creek. So on and so forth. Again, this is just practice, review items. We want to make sure that our scholars are still retaining the information that they learned before this long break. Now, really quick before we go to part 6, I want to do a quick stretch. Hands to your side, hands up, pull, make a good stretch in your shoulders because it is story time, scholars. I know a lot of my kids like story time. So this is what I want to do for part 6. Parents, you can pause my video, give your child time to read that story to you or to themselves, just so they can get a feel of reading that story by themselves. Then you can unpause me. I will read the story to them, and just so they can hear me read it as well, and then I'll go into how the worksheet should look. Okay, I'm going to start reading the story now. So if you want to pause now. Scholars, please put your finger on the first word of the title. I'm going to start reading. Please follow along with your finger. Tim asked questions. Tim asked a lot of questions. His dad told him to go to the store for milk. Tim asked, which store? When his mom told him to set the cups on the shelf, he asked, which shelf? His sister said, give me a hand. Tim said, which hand? Last week, Tim was at a ranch. The rancher told him, get on a horse and go down that path. Tim asked 2 questions. What questions do you think he asked? Take a couple seconds, scholars, to think really big. The rancher told Tim to get on a black horse, and Tim did that. Then Tim went down the path and got to a creek. He said, how is this horse going to get over this creek? The horse showed him how. The horse jumped over the creek, but Tim fell into the creek when the horse jumped. Tim sat in the middle of the creek and said to the horse, I see how you got over the creek. Then he asked a question. What do you think he asked? Excellent, scholars. So please go ahead and flip the page. We're going to go over how I want you to do the worksheet after completing everything that we did. Everybody, I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to have your worksheet open, fingers on part 1, and I'm going to start explaining what to do step by step. It is going to be a little bit different than what we have done in class. Parents, please pause the video if your scholar needs a little bit more time to get to that page. Okay, scholars, please put your finger on part 1. I want you to say all of the sounds. You will see that you don't have to write the sounds this time. They are already there. I want you to practice saying them out loud. That first sound is Next sound, or. Next sound has 2 sounds, E or E. Next sound, G. Next sound, I. Next sound, R. Next sound, Next sound, This next sound has 2 sounds as well, O or Ah. Last sound, S. Excellent. Go ahead and go to part 2. When you complete the words, I want you to first sound out what is already on that line. So for example, part 2, the first line, that word is eep. I'm going to say it again, eep. You're going to complete that word. It can be beep. It can be sleep. Any word, I just want you to complete all of those words in part 2. Check your spelling. Remember to sound it out. Go ahead and go to part 3. Part 3, you're going to have to go back and forth from story time to the worksheet. Make sure that we pay attention. I'm going to read the directions to you. Please follow along. Part 3, finger on the directions. Find part 6 of lesson 11 in your student book. That's just story time. So you can just go the page before this in your packet and it'll be the story. You're going to write the first word of these sentences. I'm going to say that again. You're only going to write the first word of the sentences. So first sentence. That first line says first sentence. You're going to go back to the story, look for the first sentence, and what do you think that you're going to write? The whole sentence? No. The third word? No. You're going to write only the first word of sentence 1. Then you're going to go to the next line. It says second sentence. You're going to write the first word of the second sentence. And then you're going to go to the third line. It says third sentence. So that means you're going to find the first word in the third sentence. Okay, we're going to go to part 4. Scholars, follow along in part 4. Hopefully you guys can see the photo. I know that you guys were made copies. I'm not sure if it's in color or if it's in black and white. If you're using your PDF, it's most likely in black and white. So if you have any difficulty with this, please send me a text, a message on Dojo, and I can definitely see if I can help mitigate that problem there. Number 1 says, Tim went down the path and got to a k. You'll see that I only said the sound k because you have to complete the word on that line. So we have to think big. Tim went down the path and got to a what? I guess scholars have to figure that out. Number 2, the horse jumped. What it wants you to do, make an H, the letter H, to show where the horse landed, and make a letter T to show where Tim landed. If you need to read the story again, scholars, read the story again. That is perfectly okay. We're going to go ahead and go to part 5. You guys know this. A lot of you guys had a lot of fun with these. Part 5, you just have to match the words and complete them. So what I would do first is I would look on, you see the first column. The first column of words is socks, sweep, witch, crash. You're going to look at the next column. Those words don't really make any sense. You have to make them make sense. So you look at the first word. It says itch. What word could possibly have the letters that make itch? Socks? Probably not. Sweep? Definitely not. What about witch? Yes. So itch can be fixed to say witch. So you would just add the missing letters and match them. And then after you're done fixing all of those words, you draw the line. Make sure that they're straight from dot to dot, matching the words that you fixed with the words that were already there. And now we're going to go ahead and go to part 6. Part 6 is pretty straightforward. You have to circle, not square, not scribble. Circle the sounds that it's asking you. So the first sound that you're going to circle in the first line is ch. So you're going to read that entire line and find the letters that say ch, and you're going to circle them. Here's a little cheat code. If you go to the end of that line, you're going to see a number that is circled. That number shows you how many sounds ch are there. So if you go to the next line, you have to find the word what. You're going to go circle the word what in that entire line. There are 2 that you should be circling. And the last one is have. You're going to go and look for the word have. There should be 3. Okay, callers, so you can go ahead and check your work. Part 7. Part 7, you have to copy the sentence. Now, I know a lot of you got confused. When you copy the sentence, let's not forget, it always starts with a capital letter and it always ends with a punctuation mark. So that means you copy it exactly like it is. Don't rush. You can do it slowly. Make sure that you're not missing any letters. You're not missing any words. And number one, make sure that you write as neat as you can because we want to make sure that our handwriting is beautiful. Excellent. Okay, so then you'll see that there is a second side of that worksheet. That second side, part one, is matching. Same thing, matching. You're completing the word and you're matching it. You'll go to part two. You're going to copy the sentences. It's extra practice for the worksheet that you did. You're going to copy those sentences. And remember, capital letter ends with a punctuation mark. Part three, we already went over that. Cheat code is on the end of that row of letters. Part four, this one is different. You have to read the sentences in that box. You can read it the fast way. We just want to make sure that you know those words. And then the last part in part four, you have to write the last word of these sentences. Remember, that's different. Earlier it asked for the first word. Now it's asking for the last word in those sentences. Okay? So make sure that we're being extra careful and reading the directions. If you guys have any questions at all, please, please, please reach out to me on Dojo. I will try to be making more videos like this to help guide on problems that I may feel that you will have a little bit of difficulty with, but I am here for you. Have fun, take your time, and remember, it is okay to make mistakes. I hope that you guys are doing well, and that you guys enjoyed this video. I will try to make more. I love you all. Bye.
Hi, so I know the video was really long alone in itself. This is just me showing you what I was referencing. So this is a lesson 11 with the different parts of saying the sound first, and then reading the word fast. Make sure that this is completed before starting story time. I do read the story to my scholars, so if you can just have them read the story first themselves, that would be very much appreciated. This is the worksheet that it goes alongside with the lesson that I kind of reviewed with everybody. Just make sure that you guys are taking your time on this. Don't feel like you need to rush. It is okay. And then this is extra practice, the homework that goes along with that worksheet there that you guys can accomplish. Now, please don't feel like you have to rush. Take your time and just do what you can. That's all I can ask. Thank you so much.